Hi, I'm Jonah Comstock, Editor-in-Chief at pharmaphorum. I'm here at JP Morgan on Monday. I'm at the Beacon Grand Hotel, and I'm joined by Marianne, the CEO of Vir Biotechnologies. Thanks for meeting with me today.
It's a pleasure, Jonah.
So we have spoken before. Remind me and remind our viewers a little bit about Vir and what you guys do.
Sure. I think that most of your viewers will know Vir Biotechnology from being very successful during the COVID pandemic, bringing a new therapeutic to patients, so Trovimab, together with our partner GSK.
Right.
But since then, a lot has happened. And we are now a company that is really looking to harness the power of the immune system to transform patients' lives, not only in infectious diseases, but also in cancer.
Great. So what do you have going on, kind of looking ahead to this year? Anything you've already announced at the show?
Yes, actually last week we announced for the very first time our data from 2 clinical stage masked T-cell engagers that we have licensed from Sanofi in the course of last year. And so we presented data on our HER2 assets and showed data in metastatic breast cancer patients, metastatic colorectal cancer patients, very compelling early data. You might know, Jonah, that T-cell engagers hold, tremendous potential. I mean, even I would say potential curative potential in cancer care, but the sort of potential of using T-cell engagers in metastatic solid tumors has really been held back by debilitating toxicity, off-tumor activation, healthy tissues that get damaged, and also cytokine release syndrome. So we have licensed the platform exclusively for use in oncology and infectious diseases. And what it allows us to do is take a T-cell engager, and so it could be any T-cell engager. And a T-cell engager, as you know, it's a bispecific molecule. It binds on the one hand a cancer cell, the tumor and associated antigen. It binds on the other hand CD3, the T-cell. And by bringing the cancer cell and the T-cell in close proximity from one another, T-cells get activated and can exert cancer killing. Now, as I said, the problem with T-cell engagers is often, this effect happening outside of the tumor. So our platform, it's called ProXTEN, is putting a dual mask around a T-cell engager. So both the tumor-associated antigen binding site and the T-cell binding site are masked, and there's a protease cleavable linker. So what happens is that dual mask T-cell engager can circulate in your bloodstream and nothing happens, but when it reaches the tumor microenvironment, the proteases in the tumor will cleave off the masks, and so the T-cell engager then can get targetedly activated and exerts its effect. And so for the first time, last week, we have shown a clinical proof of concept of that platform, both with a HER2 program and also with a PSMA program in metastatic castration-resistant prostate cancer.
That is such a complex mechanism, really. I mean, it must have taken a long time to sort of work out how to do that, how to mitigate those effects and build that shell.
Yeah, as part of doing this deal with Sanofi, we brought in 3 clinical stage assets, HER2 program, a PSMA program, and we're also going to start first in-patient dosing of an EGFR program. We brought in the platform, again, exclusive rights for oncology and infectious disease, but we also brought in the people that have been really close to the platform, to your point, and that have been working on optimizing this platform for, over 15, 20 years. And so they have really studied what proteases work in what tumor microenvironment. You're absolutely right. There's a lot of optimization that needs to happen to get us where we are today. But I think the data that we have shown last week were, again, early data, but incredibly compelling and promising.
So what will happen next when you have that early data? More trials, bigger trials? What is it all kind of?
Yes, actually, it's the case that we are still for our HER2 program and also for our PSMA program in phase 1 dose escalation. So we haven't achieved the maximum tolerated multiple dose, so we still have some way to go, and we have seen really great safety profiles, so we have room to escalate a dose. So that dose escalation will continue this year. The other thing that we have been exploring is currently we are dosing on a weekly basis. And because of the extend masks that we put on the T-cell engagers, actually the half-life of the drugs increases. So we have seen with our HER2 drug a half-life of between 5 and 6 days, and with our PSMA drugs between 8 and 10 days. So we think that will potentially allow us to dose every 3 weeks. And of course, we are exploring that now also in our phase 1 trial. That would be very beneficial for patients, obviously much more convenient. And it would also open up the potential, down the road to potentially move into earlier lines of therapy. We're also still exploring for our HER2 asset a combination with Pembro, so with a PD-1 inhibitor. So, all that data is going to mature over the course of this year.
Talk to me about some of the kind of headwinds you see going into 2025. Obviously, there's a new administration coming in, and there's some questions about what the effects of that are going to be for pharma, and obviously still dealing with sort of the effects of things like the IRA and biosecure. I mean, how much energy are you spending thinking about that kind of stuff, the regulatory, the political environment, and what do you see as maybe how that's likely to shake out in the next year, and I guess 4 years?
I think it's really important to focus on the things that you can control. And so beyond, the T-cell engager clinical stage assets that I spoke with you about, we are actually bringing a hepatitis delta program into registrational trials. So we're very, very focused on making that happening. We will also have hepatitis B data reading out in the second quarter of this year. So for us, 2025 will be incredibly busy and focused on clinical execution. Obviously the new administration, we will see what that brings. IRA is, I think, a topic that doesn't impact us as much. I think, for companies that are focused in the small molecule arena, that I think is having much more impact. But obviously we are in the biologics field. On the Biosecure Act, in the course of last year, we have brought all our manufacturing domestically outside of China. So I think we're in a really good place. We're just very, very focused. Obviously, we operate in a highly regulated environment, and we will continue to progress our programs as quickly as we can. I also want to add, the past 2 years in biotech have been really harsh. So I am actually really optimistic. I feel that, with the deals that are already being announced here, just starting at JP Morgan, that we're hopefully going to enter a year that is maybe a little bit similar to what we had before the pandemic.
And what kind of position are you guys in when it comes to deal making? Are you looking for more assets? Are you, what kind of meetings are you taking here?
Yes, actually, we have quite a number of business development meetings, not to bring in assets because we have a very full plate, but we have a number of assets that we would like to potentially partner. For example, we are very well capitalized. At the beginning of this year, we have about 1.1 billion in cash and investments, and we estimate our cash runway into mid-2027. So we're in a really good position thanks to very enhanced financial discipline. We did a lot of restructuring. We have cleaned up our pipeline. We have strategically stopped assets. So we've done a lot. However, there are certain programs that we think would be best, would be creating most value if we could do it together with a partner. So for example, our hepatitis B program that is in phase 2, that is reading out functional cure data in the second quarter. For that program, we are looking for a worldwide development and commercialization partner. We also have now with our ProXtend platform because it's a plug and play mask. So we can put that mask on any target, any T-cell engager target, and any protein, cytokine, etc. So there's an opportunity for us to now quickly build a pipeline of new targets in oncology.
Sure.
So there's a number of companies that have already reached out to work with us on that. So taking meetings in that space. And then we also have a really interesting preclinical HIV cure program that we could, potentially partner. So yeah, mostly looking for partners to help us progress all the great innovation that we have.
You're so diversified. I mean, you said, most folks know you from COVID. You're in cancer. You're in HIV. What's kind of your, I guess, unifying principle, and how do you sort of stay focused when you're working on so many different?
Yeah, our vision is really to harness the power of the immune system to transform lives, be it patients' lives in infectious diseases or in cancer. And what is really at the core strength of Vir is deeply understanding how the immune system reacts to external threats. And also we are, I think, really state of the art in protein engineering. So that is really what we have been bringing together as we were expanding into cancer. And it's really focused on fighting, two formidable threats, cancer and viruses. And the underlying principle is the same. So in normal circumstances, the immune system is remarkably well equipped at fighting both viruses and cancer. A cancer cell, when it's developed, it's quickly identified, it's cleared, same with viruses. However, both cancer and viruses have evolved sophisticated mechanisms to fight infection or to fight the immune system, to evade the immune system. And when that happens, of course, you develop tumors or you develop, devastating infections. So what we actually do is again, really come in and develop therapeutics that help the immune system fight disease. That's sort of the unifying theme across all the programs that we have. In cancer care, we're basically activating T cells to fight cancer. And in hepatitis, we're actually deploying our antibody platform, and we are designing very unique antibody therapeutics that can engage the immune system and again help to clear the infection. So the underlying themes are very, very similar, even though the therapeutic areas are different.
Well, I think we have to bring this to a close, but do you have any kind of big picture thoughts? Thinking, this conference is all about thinking about trends and what's coming up in the year. Anything you're excited about or apprehensive about, or what's on your mind?
Yeah, as I mentioned, I'm really optimistic about this year. I mean, of course, for us as Vir, we have a lot of we have a very event-filled year, a lot of catalysts coming up in our Delta program, in our B program, in our T-cell engager program. So very much looking forward to, seeing continued data that is hopefully going to bring new hope and better outcomes for patients. And as mentioned, I'm also really optimistic that the sector, the biotech sector, will see some, very positive uptick because again, there's a great need in the pharma industry to access innovation. So I think, if biotech and pharma can get together here at this conference, I think it can be the seeds of a lot of positive to come.
Awesome. Thank you so much for chatting with me, Marianne.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.
Have a great show.
Yeah, too.